Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Chris here from Fake Sports News, Expectation, however the flip you know me on these interwebs. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys something a little bit different. As you guys can clearly see, I'm going to be bringing you guys some power rankings. So, looking at it, I did a breakdown of all the teams and their performance in Stage 2. Of course, who else led the pack but the LA Thieves? They were 7-0 with a 21-2 map count, 91% map win percentage, which is insane. So just to explain you guys pretty briefly, what I did was I took the map win percentage, and that is the dictating element of the power rankings. So basically, I decided the power rankings based on the map win percentage. I felt that was a pretty efficient way to say, hey, ball don't lie. If you're getting efficient wins in your series, you're going to have to play some pretty good teams. And the teams that have gotten the most efficient wins should realistically be seen as the strongest in this qualifier. So I hope my rationale makes sense. If you guys think that makes sense, let me know. If you think I should use a different metric, also, I appreciate the suggestions and feedback. But that's the metric that we're using. Wanted to explain before I get into the reports and everything else. Also, if you guys have not seen it, I did my major two pickems, so be sure to check those out. They're on the channel. And yeah, let's get into it. Looking at all 12 of our teams, the LA Thieves, of course, topped the group. They were 7-0, like I said. They demonstrated unparalleled dominance throughout the qualifiers, finishing with a 7-0 record, 21 wins and 2 losses, which is insane. They also beat some really good teams. They beat the Carolina Royal Ravens 3-0 week 1, and they 3-0'd Ultra in week 2. Ultra has been a very, very solid team, so that's really respectable. Also beating Carolina, the fourth ranked team on this power ranking with the 3-0 is extremely respectable. They beat number 3 and number 4. So, yeah, LA Thieves look like the real deal right now, and I am very high on them going into the major. So, looking at our second seeded team in the power rankings, we have Atlanta Faze, the only other team to not be 5-2 or lower. They were 6-1 with a 19-8 map record, and they had a 70% win rate, on these maps. But they were testing out their maps, so a lower win rate is to be expected here because they're playing a lot of Hacienda and maps they're not really as good at and trying to improve them for the grand finals against LA Thieves, as I explained in my pick'em video. So Atlanta Faze had a strong showing in the qualifiers, finishing with a 6-1 series record. Their only loss came against Vancouver Surge in week 1. They quickly rebounded with convincing wins against other top teams like Ultra with a 3-2 in week 2 and Ravens with a 3-1 in week 2. Their map win percentage is impressive, which indicates consistent performance across all of their matches. Despite the early loss to Vancouver, their subsequent victories against other top contenders demonstrate their resilience and ability to perform at a high level against strong competition, highlights their potential to dominate matches. Yeah, I mean, the 3-0 over Optic is not really anything to write home about, but they should have dominated, and they did. I mean, Optic has looked like okay in some of their other series, so it's not like they were without a pulse, but they didn't look like a dominant team. Now, number 3 is Toronto Ultra. Of course, they had a 5-2 record in the stage. Like, I think 3 through 6 all had the same record, so everybody here has a 5-2 record. That's why the differential for me was the map win rate. So yeah, Ultra, they were 15-12, and I'm sorry, it was the map win rate and then also head to heads too. So some heuristics there. Like Ultra beat Ravens, so that's why they usurped them in the power ranking. So yeah. But if they square off at the major, I do think that Ravens win it, if I'm being honest with you. So just take that as a note. So Ultra finished with a 5-2 record. They won against teams like Ravens. They 3-1 them in week 1, and they hit Breach with a hot 3-2 in week 2. But they got 3-0'd by Thieves, and they lost game 5 to Surge in the final week of quals. What? No, I thought they beat Surge. Didn't they beat Surge? Didn't they beat Surge? Yeah, they beat Surge. So who'd they lose to again? They lost to Surge and who else? Okay, so Thieves beat them. Did they play Faze? Cloud9 3-0'd them. Okay, so Cloud9 was the other victory. I goofed. So, yeah, I mean, that doesn't really change anything here. Obviously, they did actually beat Ravens, so they had the head-to-head over them. Anyways, just looking at Ultra, their victories over Ravens and Breach were really impressive. Obviously, they also lost to C9 with a 3-0 and LA Thieves with a 3-0, so I mean, the C9 loss is kind of negligible at this point because Ultra just looked so much better in the weeks that followed. And LA Thieves loss, I mean, it's LA Thieves. So, yeah, I mean, Ultra looked good, all things considered, but I don't have them winning the tournament. I just don't think they have, I don't think they've put it together that we've seen consistently enough for them to win a tournament. So, that's my only misgiving for Ultra, but they have looked really good. I mean, if they can bring it together, they definitely have the potential to be a top team and they could win a tournament, but them bringing it all together consistently is what remains to be seen. Speaking of teams bringing it together consistently, the Carolina Royal Ravens are a team that I feel has the opposite problem. I feel like even if they, I feel like they bring it together consistently, but they just don't have the capability to win, right? Like there's just not enough slang on that team in a fundamental way for them to be like competitive with an LA Thieves or an Atlanta Faze or even consistently with a team like Optic if Optic returns to proper form. So they finished with a 5-2 series record. They 3-0'd Rokkr and they 3-1 Cloud9, which obviously Ultra could not do. But they lost to LA Thieves and Ultra, so that's why the Ultra are ranked above them. They had a great win percentage and they looked really good against teams like Rokkr and everybody else. So that's why I'm pretty high on the Ravens at this major. That's why I have them making a really good run. Conversely, a team that I don't have making necessarily the best run, but who turned heads, Vancouver Surge. They were 5-2 with a 17-12 map record and a 60% map win percentage, which is very solid considering how they did the last stage. They had a noteworthy qualifier performance with a 5-2 series record. Their best win, of course, was the 3-1 upset against Faze, who won Major 1. They also secured a close 3-2 victory against Cloud9 in Week 1, so that really cemented that they were a different team with Neptune. And they lost against LA Thieves 3-0 in Week 3 and at Minor 2. And they had a Game 5 loss against Ultra last week. Yeah, that was a heartbreaker just because they had a lot of connection stuff and it wasn't necessarily them playing bad per se. Yeah. So they have a lot of potential, but it just remains to be seen if it'll translate to LAN. So that's the only thing with them. Looking at Cloud9, I'm actually very high on this team just because I feel like they've made the necessary improvements to be a solid team. The team comp's really good. I like what they're getting out of Sibs looking absolutely amazing. And Attach has picked it up considerably, as have Mac and Kremp. So I just feel like this team is more like a unit than they were when they started. And looking at, their breakdown, they were 16-9 in maps, 4-3 in series. They 3-0'd Toronto week 1, they 3-0'd Breach week 2, and they lost to obviously Surge, Ravens, and FaZe. So they had a really good stage, losing to the three best teams in some people's minds, or three of the four best teams. So, yeah, I mean, Cloud9 looked really good. And I have them making it pretty far in the major. Spoiler. So I like what I saw from Cloud9, and I like things going forward for them. I think they have a really good pathway to potentially making some good placements and building confidence going into subsequent majors. So, number 7, the Minnesota Rokkr. They had a 3-4 record in series, 11-13 in maps. And yeah, I mean, I just didn't like them this stage, honestly. I didn't like what I saw from them. I felt like Nero was not giving them consistent output as a superstar slayer. I feel like Paul kind of took a step back, and Geo took a big step back. So maybe they get back to basics on LAN and look like they did before, but I don't know. I just feel like maybe there's a personnel issue with this team that needs some sort of like addressing, and it seems like they've just hit a wall. Yeah, they struggle against top ranked teams, suffering loss against Ravens 0-3 in week 2, Faze 3-0 in week 3, and yeah, they just had a really rough stage. So, looking at our number 8 ranked team, we had the Boston Breach. They were 3-4 in series, 13-16 in map count. They also were 3-4. They got a Game 5 victory over LAG in week 1, a 3-1 over Miami, and yeah, everybody else pretty much just farmed them. Lost to Ultra, LA Thieves, they lost to FaZe. So, I mean, they've just had a really rough stage. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of faith in Boston in terms of what we've seen from them. Obviously, them getting everyone else involved more consistently, Cammy, Wake, Snoop, Purge, like all of them, doing a little bit more of the lion's share in individual maps and series is great. Wake had some pop-off series, so did Purge, so did Cammy. Snoopy did as well, but I mean, it just, they haven't brought it together as a team, so not too high on Boston. Number 9, the Miami Heretics. Similar, as you guys know, I said, I think week 1, I felt like Miami would be the team that did really well at Major 1, reached their early peak, and then did a whole lot of nothing, and it looks like I was absolutely right. They finished stage shoot with a 2-5 record, 10-15 in maps. They had a terrible stage shoot run. They only beat LAG and Optic. They struggled against higher ranked teams, losing to Faze, Carolina, and everybody else. And yeah, they lost to Boston even, so just yeah, they're just not looking good anymore. Optic, I mean, what is there really to say? Kenny got dropped. They had a disappointing qualifier, 1-6 series record. Only went against LAG. Yeah, I mean, they got 3-0 by Faze and Ravens. Their extremely low map win percentage indicates significant struggles across all game modes. The community discussions on platforms like Reddit reflect concerns about Optic's performance. Yeah, I had Gemini create this report just so you guys know, just in the sake of efficiency, but I collected all the stats and everything myself and just had to compile it. So yeah, that's why some of this stuff is like whatever. But anyways, LAG 1-6, 8-18 map count. Yeah, I mean they're ass. So they only beat Falcons. Everybody else just farmed them. Falcons, come on, like we're not seriously talking about Falcons. 4 maps, yeah, like they're just ass. So let's look at the table. Look at everybody. LA Thieves 7-0. Atlanta Faze 6-1, Toronto Ultra 5-2, Carolina Royal Ravens 5-2, Vancouver Surge 5-2, and Cloud9 4-3. So yeah, I mean this top six is pretty much fair. The only team that I could see coming in and replacing one of these guys is Optic. I don't really see any of these other guys in the bottom six having the potential for the rest of the season to usurp anyone. I could absolutely see Vancouver getting nixed out of this top six for Optic. I feel like Cloud9 will keep improving, but I feel like Vancouver, they made the change. They looked really good. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's not going to stick the same way they're expecting it to. So, looking at all the other teams here, it's just a 2-team league, as you guys can see, because FaZe and LA Thieves are the only 2 teams here with a winning record against the top six. Ultras 1-2, Ravens are 1-2, Surge are 2-2, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm expecting it to be a FaZe versus LA Thieves finals. All the metrics point to it. Yeah, and I hope you guys can appreciate this in-depth review of everything that happened, so you guys can get an appreciation of what I'm expecting and why. And yeah, that'll just about wrap it up for me, guys. Be sure to join the Discord, link down below, for some more data points, write ups, etc., for prize picks, and just for your own edification, just as you're watching the tournament. So, yeah, guys, those will wrap it up for me. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night, wherever you may be on this beautiful planet, and I will catch you on the next one. Once again, this is Chris from Fake Sports News or Axis Rotation, and I'm signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like I said, don't forget to share it with someone if you think they might enjoy it or if you enjoyed it. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.